From David Beckham securing England's place in the 2002 World Cup to Manchester City's crazy Premier League winner. Here are the top 20 most ridiculous last-minute moments in football. While there are so many entries to start with, at number 20, we have Beckham's insane curler against Greece. Everyone remembers England's qualification campaign for the 2002 World Cup being somewhat rocky, and drawing against Greece was their last option to automatically qualify for the World Cup. Now you see, soon after the 90-minute mark, the Three Lions were 2-1 down when Teddy Sheringham had just won a free kick 25 yards out. And obviously, this was Beckham's chance to be a national hero again, when he curled it in from 25 yards out. Talk about pinpoint accuracy. Moving on to number 19 and number 18 on the list, let's look at two last-minute moments from one of the craziest Manchester derbies ever. In 2009, the two Manchester Giants gave us a goal fest that saw United 3-2 up with no time left in regular play. And that's when Craig Bellamy stepped up for City, when he capitalised on Ferdinand's slip-up to race downfield and equalise in stoppage time. Now, while the citizens went wild thinking they had rescued a point, those celebrations were soon cut off for them, as right after some 6 minutes were awarded as stoppage time, Michael Owen found himself a superb through ball by Giggsy, as he found his sweet chance at the back of the net in the 96th minute, giving United a memorable 4-3 victory over their noisy neighbours. Now, speaking of a memorable victory, at number 17, we have Nasser Chadli's World Cup heroics. You see, back in the 2018 World Cup, Belgium's attacking force equalised a 2-goal lead against the Samurai Blues, and soon after, the force got harder for the Japanese to handle. Lukaku managed to set up Chadli for the game-winning goal, as he struck from close range to make the score 3-2, and secured a place in the quarter-finals for his nation. Next up at number 16 is Ben Foster's clutch performance for Wrexham AFC. In a match against Notts County, Wrexham conceded a last-minute penalty when they were 3-2 up. Now, the Red Dragons looked set to drop points, but luckily for them, a 40-year-old Foster proved to be their hero, when he came up clutch with a perfect save to retain their lead against the Welsh side. But you see, keepers don't always save the day for their club, especially when they're too busy doing that for their former clubs. So at number 15, we have Martinez saving the day for Arsenal. In a game where Aston Villa looked all set to put another dent in Arsenal's title hopes, Jorginho's powerful long-range strike in the 93rd minute crashed against the woodwork, before deflecting off Martinez and into the net, giving Arsenal a 3-2 lead. But that's not all. You see, the former Arsenal goalie tried to make amends for his own goal, as he rushed up for a corner in the last moments of stoppage time. But it quickly backfired when Vieira and Martinelli caught the villains with a quick counter. That had the winger celebrating even before he scored into an empty net. What an unfortunate tale of events. And this reminds me of number 14, when Manchester United scored a penalty after the final whistle. In a 2020 clash between the Premier League sides, the scores were levelled at 2-2 at full time, where Solly March scored the equaliser in the 95th minute, only for United to be ridiculously awarded a penalty by the VAR after the full-time whistle had blown, and stepped up Bruno Fernandes to settle one of the most controversial but dramatic finishes in a Premier League game. Now, if we're being dramatic, let's take a look at the goalkeeper scoring a late equaliser in a Mexican final at number 13. Now you might be unfamiliar with this, but the Mexican League is usually decided by a playoff final. In this case, Club America were losing their 2013 title to Cruz Azul. That is until America's goalie, Moises Munoz, came forward to score a diving header to take his team to the penalty shootout. And the cherry on top was him saving a penalty in the shootout, leading his team to championship glory. Now, to continue the drama, at number 12 we have Lucas Moura's Champions League hat-trick. In this climatic Champions League semi-final, Spurs were already behind 3-0 at half-time, but Lucas Moura somehow managed to score twice early in the second half. And as soon as the game reached its last moments in stoppage time, Moura calmly buried a shot into the goal, taking the North London sides to their first Champions League final, cementing his place in Spurs' history. But not to mention, 11th on this list is none other than Barca's iconic comeback against PSG. Now, Barcelona was 4-0 down in aggregate in the second leg of their round of 16 match, while PSG's defence was put to the test as they conceded 3 goals within 50 minutes in the game, and failed the test again when Neymar proved to be the game's hero, when he scored twice to equalise the score. And then, in the dying moments of the game, he chipped the ball to Sergio Roberto, who scored a dramatic winning goal in the 95th minute to make the score 6-5. Now, before I forget, Sergio Ramos also makes this list at number 10 with his insane header in the Champions League final. As the clock was ticking down in stoppage time of the 90 minutes, Real Madrid were concerned that they might lose their chance to win La Decima, being 1-0 down. But in the 93rd minute of the game, Real Madrid's captain leaped high and scored on a header to tie the score and take it to extra time, only for them to thrash their city rivals 4-1 to win the iconic clash in extra time. And while we're talking about scoring in finals, how could I forget about Iniesta's World Cup winning goal at number 9? Back in 2010, Spain and Netherlands battled it out in one of the most tense World Cup finals in history. But the battle was finally over in the second half of extra time, when Andreas Iniesta managed to score a late goal from open play, awarding Spain their first World Cup. And funnily enough, Iniesta was yellow carded when he took his shirt off to celebrate his winning goal. But can you really blame him? And this reminds me of Don Andres' heartbreaking goal against Chelsea at number 8. In the controversial final of the 2008-09 Champions League campaign, Barcelona broke Chelsea's hearts in the semi-final with a 32-minute strike from Andres Iniesta. This goal won Barca the game on aggregate, sending them through to the final, where they beat Chelsea rivals Manchester United. As for United's other rivals on this list, at number 7 we have Michael Owen's strike against Arsenal. Arsenal managed to grab the lead after 72 minutes. But despite having more experience in FA Cup finals, they lost the lead to Owen, who popped up to not just equalise in the 80th, but went down in Liverpool history with his match-winning 88th minute strike. And it's safe to say that the 2001 FA Cup final is commonly known as the Michael Owen Cup final. Now for Liverpool's next FA Cup final after 5 years. At number 6, we have Gerrard's last-minute belter against West Ham in 2006. In the 125th final of this prestigious tournament, West Ham snatched a 3-2 lead after another goal from Paul Konchesky, and as early as the 30th minute, Liverpool was already behind by 2 goals. But Stevie G, being the legend he is, managed to score Liverpool's second goal, only to score a third long-range belter in the 91st minute. Now this was the final psychological nail in the coffin for West Ham, as Liverpool won their 7th FA Cup in the penalty shootout. But you see, things didn't always stay sunny for Stevie G. And that's why at number 5, we have Gerrard's devastating slip against Chelsea. Back in 2014, Liverpool finally had a glorious chance to win their first title in 24 years. But Mourinho's side were at their best behaviour to frustrate the Reds with a deep defensive line. And eventually, Liverpool slipped up in injury time, when last man Gerrard miscontrolled a pass by Sarko, and slipped in hopes of redeeming the mistake. But it was too late, and Demba Ba ran through the empty defence to end the dream for Liverpool. Truly devastating. But what's next? Well, it's none other than Martinez's iconic save in the 2022 World Cup final at number 4. You see, after the 6-goal thriller in extra time, Kolo Muani was handed a golden chance to win France their second World Cup in a row after the 120-minute mark. Now, Muani was through and came 1v1 with Martinez, and he let it fly with a brilliant volley, only to see the shot saved by the rushing goalkeeper. And while Messi finally won the World Cup, Martinez ended the tournament with the FIFA World Cup Golden Glove to his name. As for his teammate, at number 3 we have Messi's legendary 500th goal in El Clasico. You see, despite Messi tying the score, he was struggling to make an impact after being fouled repeatedly. And after Rakitic and Rodriguez both levelled the score again, it was up to the GOATs to decide the fate of the match. And that's exactly what he did. When Madrid tried to force a decisive play, in a quick counter, Alba hooked his captain up with the perfect pass, who scored the game-winning goal from 15 yards out at minute 91:45. Now coming up next at number 2 is a special moment, and that's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's 93rd minute winner against Bayern Munich. I think the German Giants were taking it easy with a score levelled in the 1999 Champions League final. I mean, how can you sleep when a super sub is coming right off the bench? And that's what happened when Solskjaer came off United's bench and smashed home a late goal, securing the iconic treble for the Red Devils. And last but not least, we have the iconic Aguero moment at number 1. In the dying moments of the last game week of the 2011 to 2012 season, Manchester City and Manchester United were tied for first place on the points table. Now, while United won their game and were soon to be crowned champions, the score was levelled at 2-2 for City. And that's when the magic happened, when Balotelli made his first and last assist of the season to Aguero, who scored the goal in the 94th minute and finally made City League champions after 40 years. And there you have it, folks, the top 20 most ridiculous last-minute moments in football. Now, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more exciting football content.